from Storyflo. This is your daily audio brief. Hey Mason here. July 28th. The opening read, 5 stories that explain today's tape. Let's get into it. First, from Bloomberg. Markets. Software stocks in India. Set to beat global chipmakers by record. India's software stocks are set for their biggest monthly outperformance over global chipmakers, signaling investors are moving out of the artificial intelligence trade and into beaten-down information technology names. Next, second from pristinecapital. NVDA, 4.99% into Elite 8 earnings. Hey gang, I'm on day 2 of my cruise, but wanted to share quick updates as an outsider looking into the market. As always, I really appreciate your support of my work. I am on vacation, with limited availability from July 26th to August 3rd. Market update. The market mechanically bounced higher as POTUS TACO'ed on further Iran strikes. SOXX and DRAM underperformed on the bounce, which is a bad sign for the AI infrastructure trade. US bonds barely bounced as crude oil slid. Up next, third from TTG Trading, TTG EOD Market Review, Positions, Themes and Global Trend Portfolio. RSP hit a fresh all-time high today, climbing past its previous peak as the market leaned into a mix of sector moves. Bonds, TLT, nudged up 0.6%. The dollar, UUP, edged 0.1%, and the VIX ticked 0.5%, signaling modest risk-off pressure. Crude slipped 8% to around $82 a barrel, while AI-related stocks saw a pullback. Meanwhile, software, leisure, China, retail, and medical devices posted gains, contrasting with declines in semis, energy, and broader tech. The index snapshot showed SPY, QQQ, and IWM holding steady, with the out-of-the-box proprietary screen flagging names that broke above their value areas on 3 time frames. Those signals can help you spot potential alerts and sector themes as the week wraps up. And then, fourth, from Capital Account. Fed's skinny payment account plan leaves nobody happy. When the Fed proposed this spring to create a new path for financial technology firms to access the U.S. payments system, it tried to stake out a middle ground. As with many compromises, however, it turns out that nobody is happy. The dissatisfaction with the idea of skinny master accounts was made clear in comment letters that have been arriving over. Next, fifth, from Haymaker, Portfolio Update. Part 1. Hello Haymakers. While the overall stock market appears to be superficially calm, there has been an unusual amount of volatility within sectors and individual stocks. One of the most extreme examples of this is what has been going on with gold mining stocks. After an absolute eruption late in 2025 and into 2026, the gold miners have been among the weakest sectors in the market over the past 5 months. Up next, sixth, from metal sand miners. Treasury. Rollover risk is approaching $9 trillion. The federal debt doom loop, Besant's short-end issuance trap, the $2.5 trillion deficit, the undeniable math, and why the Fed is already boxed in. The United States government is currently executing a debt management strategy that has fundamentally altered the risk profile of the federal balance sheet. Under the direction of Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, the Treasury Department has aggressively front-loaded its debt issuance onto the short end of the yield curve. By relying heavily on Treasury bills rather than locking in long-term bonds, the government has effectively transformed its debt structure into an adjustable rate mortgage. This tactical decision makes the federal interest expense hypersensitive to any fluctuations in the O and then. Seventh, from Zero Hedge. Inside America's Left, mapping the 5 factions battling for power. Many transformations are unfolding within America's political left, and its shifting factions can be difficult to track. The Democratic establishment is fighting to preserve its grip on power as progressives and reformist socialists gain ground in local elections, with some openly promoting the dismantling of capitalism and adopting increasingly hostile rhetoric toward America. Fox News has begun publishing explainers to educate its audience about the emerging far left, while Trump administration officials, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, have DC next. 8th, from Zero Hedge. Feds charge Atlanta man who gave border agents self-destruct password for phone. A federal judge in Atlanta is weighing whether to throw out the evidence in what appears to be the first U.S. prosecution of a traveler over a phone's built-in duress password, a privacy feature that erases a device when the wrong code is entered. Samuel Tunick, an Atlanta resident and U.S. citizen, was charged under 18 U.S.C. 2232A, which makes it a crime to destroy or damage property to prevent the government from seizing it. The offense carries up to 5 years. Up next. 9th, from Bloomberg. Markets. Japanese, Korean stocks tumble as chip sell-off intensifies. Japanese and South Korean stocks slid, led by semiconductor shares, as concerns over NVIDIA Corp's blockbuster AI supply deal and intensifying competition from Chinese chip makers weighed on investor sentiment. And then, 10th, from Bloomberg. Markets. Taiwan, 5-year yield jumps to highest since 2008 on rate bets. Taiwan's 5-year bond yield climbed to the highest level in almost 2 decades as a disappointing 20-year sale last week, and growing expectations for a central bank interest rate hike sapped demand for the securities. That's the read. Watch the tape, ignore the noise. Back tomorrow. That's your brief. Find every story and claim your own free feed at storyflo.com.